One of the most common issues I hear from Cricut users is, how do I cut tiny intricate designs with thin lines without my vinyl pieces lifting up and ruining my cuts? Now, I make miniatures with my Cricut, so if I can cut decals as tiny as this, so can you. And let me show you how. The most important part of cutting intricate vinyl pieces is the vinyl that you choose to use. My preferred vinyl is HTVRont because it has a plastic backing and the vinyl stays firmly in place when making intricate cuts. Cricut and other vinyl brands typically use paper backing, which has a slippery feel to it, and vinyl doesn't adhere as well. It can move or lift, especially when cutting intricate designs. The next tip is to always use a clean, fresh cutting mat that doesn't have any cuts or debris sticking to the mat. When there are tiny bumps underneath your vinyl, your Cricut fine point blade will skip over these areas, which can cause the vinyl to lift up or create uneven cuts. To successfully perform an intricate cut, you'll need to make sure you're using a fresh, clean, sharp blade. When a blade is even a tiny bit blunt or has some sticky residue, it causes dragging of the vinyl. That dragging impacts tiny cuts because there's not much holding that tiny vinyl piece onto the backing of the vinyl. I use these fine point replacement blades. They go into the fine point blade housing for your Maker and Explore series machines. They're just as good as the Cricut brand, but they're much cheaper, and you get 40 in a pack. A Brayer is like a rolling pin for your Cricut. It helps adhere the vinyl onto your mat and removes air bubbles underneath the vinyl. Just like having a clean mat, using a Brayer will help keep the vinyl flush on the mat so your Cricut can make those smooth cuts. The material setting you select in Cricut Design Space is the most crucial step of all. For intricate cuts, I recommend using the Washi setting with more pressure. This particular material setting slows down the cut, so the intricate pieces are less likely to lift off the backing. Lastly, when weeding intricate vinyl pieces, it's easy for the tiny pieces to go missing or move about. This is why I recommend using the reverse weeding technique. Place transfer tape on the top entire front part of your vinyl. Flip it over and remove the vinyl backing. Peel off the excess vinyl from the transfer tape and use some precision tweezers or a weeding tool to remove the intricate pieces. Once weeded, transfer the decal onto your item and pull back your transfer tape. Now, there still are limitations to how tiny your Cricut can cut, so if you're working with very thin letters and not getting a successful result, you can always add a tiny offset. Click your image, then click Offset at the top of Cricut Design Space and set the thickness to 0.01 to 0.05 inches, depending on how thick you want to go. I hope these instructions help sort out the issues you're experiencing with intricate cuts. Please subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps me out.